Hey there, this is Daniel Bobinski with Workplace Excellence, and I want to welcome you to Emotional Intelligence 101. We're going to cover emotional intelligence in a way that you have probably not seen before or read before. We cover EQ in a much different, much more practical way, easier to understand than what you're going to see in the books that are out there on the market, and I think you're really going to like it. But before I get into all of that, I want to give you a little background on how I ended up getting involved in emotional intelligence, because really I was involved with it before it was called emotional intelligence. I'm going to go back to high school when I really wish that there had been a class on how to get along with people and how to understand yourself better and how to manage relationships. Didn't have that kind of class. So I ended up graduating high school and getting a job at a factory in the Chicago area. And after about a year or so, they made me a supervisor in the department. And I had a lot of good successes, but also some failures. And I really didn't know what I was doing to create the successes or the failures. Well, about a year after that, I ended up joining the Navy and I got out to my ship and I studied hard and applied myself and I made rank pretty fast. And, in a couple of years, they made me a supervisor in my own work center. So again, I'm working hard, I'm applying myself and I'm having great successes, but I'm also having failures, and I, again, don't know what I'm doing to cause either one. It kind of felt like I was a rubber ball in a cardboard box. So then I got out of the Navy, and I met this guy who worked with people one-on-one to help them improve their life situations and their life skills. And I started studying with him, and we met once a week, and he gave me assignments, and I applied myself there, and I started seeing that what he was teaching me was exactly what I had been looking for all those years. And I started understanding what it was I was doing to create success and what I was doing to create failures. And this light bulb came on. So one day he asks me, what do you want to do with the rest of your life? And I said, what I'd like to do is teach what you're teaching me. This is really powerful stuff. It's very life-changing. Teach me how to do this. And so he did. He basically taught me how to coach before coaching was called coaching. And I decided I was going to systematize that and take it out to industry. But he didn't have a framework for it. He just kind of taught it. So I went back and did a meta-analysis of what he was teaching, and I decided that it really was self-awareness, self-management, and work management, and then relationship management. And so that's what I put on my brochures, and that's when I went out and started getting business, doing that, and getting good success, very good success with that. Well, then a couple of years later, this book comes out called Emotional Intelligence. And lo and behold, it's teaching the same basic framework, self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, relationship management. And I go, oh, I've been doing this for years already. So really, I've been teaching emotional intelligence since before it was called emotional intelligence, at least before it became popular. So that's how I got involved in EQ. And I've been doing it now for 30 years, 30 plus years, and I'm loving it. We're having lots of great success. So welcome to this course. I think you've made a wise investment because it's going to be very powerful for you as well. You're going to see things that you've probably not seen before. Maybe some of it's going to be a review, but I'm going to wager that you're going to see a lot more that you haven't seen before, and you're going to see things in a new way. It's going to help you with that self-awareness, self-management, and that relationship management factor. It'll also help with your work management. So let me go over what we're going to cover in this course. We're going to go over some benefits of learning emotional intelligence. I'll show you some real-life examples of clients that I've worked with that have seen drastic improvements from learning this material. And then we're going to go over some definitions. What is really emotional intelligence? And then we're going to take a deep dive into what I call the head, heart, and hands aspect. We're going to take a look at how people perceive and process and make decisions differently. We're going to take a look at how they behave differently. And we're going to take a look at the different motivations people have. And you can have natural motivators and learned motivators. And I call this head, heart, and hands, or head, hands, and heart, however you want to say it. But the idea is it's a different framework of learning emotional intelligence because each aspect of what I cover in head, heart, and hands has an emotional component to it. And when you understand the head and the heart and the hands and how different people perceive differently and process differently and how they behave differently and the different motivators people can have and those emotions that are attached to those, voila, you have emotional intelligence. Again, welcome to Emotional Intelligence 101. I think you're going to get a lot out of this course. I encourage you to put a lot into it. You're going to get a lot out of it. You're going to see a powerful change in your life. So we'll see you in the next video.